heaven. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee. Thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock. Who's that talking about? Who calls himself a Caucasian, going back to dwelling in the Caucasus Mountains of Georgia by the Black Sea? You so-called white people whose habitation is high, who builds skyscrapers, harkening back to the time of you living up in the caves in Mount Seir, and then after that in the Caucasus Mountains, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground, right? And that's your mentality. Who's going to bring me down? Well, the Heavenly Father, he's the one that's bringing you down. All right, he's a basing your ass. And the whole world sees it. Psalms 49 and 11. Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, right? And this is what Esau thought, that he was just going to continue forever. He was going to rule forever. He's going to ride off into the sunset like some damn John Wayne movie. It don't work like that. Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations, right? You're just going to pass down your inheritance to your sons and your daughters and your grandsons and your granddaughters. They call their lands after their own names, right? America itself, which means bitter, by the way, is named after Amerigo Vespucci. You have the state of Washington, D.C., named after that funky-ass devil, George Washington. And we can go on for days. Jackson, Mississippi, named after that devil, Andrew Jackson. And so the Heavenly Father is exposing you. All right, he's got all these nations ready to ride on your ass, and it's a beautiful thing to see. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 33, verse 1. Woe to thee that spoilest, and thou wast not spoiled, and dealest treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee. That's right, and you've been dealing treacherously with those Moabites for a while. There wasn't nobody bothering you, but you came out of those caves with a vengeance. All right, and you put the whole world in subjection, and you had to put us, the Israelites, in subjection first. Then you branched off and started putting hell on the Moabites, the Elamites, the different Japhetic nations. And you really got Ham more so like last, but you got to them too. When thou shalt cease to spoil, thou shalt be spoiled. And when thou shalt make an end to deal treacherously, they shall deal treacherously with thee, right? And that's the spirit of these other nations. They're all about snaking you, deceiving you. Why? Because that's a recompense of your own wickedness, because you reap what you sow. You've been dealing falsely and deceitfully with these other nations, so now they recompense it. All right, this is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 6. Shall not all these take up a parable against him and a taunting proverb against him? And that's what they're saying. They're saying, hey, look, you are in no moral position to say anything to us. When you go into the other videos, they said a lot. Yeah, they said they usually, a diplomat usually doesn't speak that long, but he had a lot to say because that devil Blink, which is a so-called Jew, he came out the gate like he's some type of authority. Again, these Edomites, man, they're on a high horse, but guess what? The Heavenly Father is knocking them off of it, and they're just not accustomed to people talking back to them like that, because that fear that these other nations previously had is dissipating. All right, now they're becoming more courageous, and they're ready to ride on you. Shall not all these take up a parable against him and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his, right? Because they're highlighting all of the iniquity of America, and they're saying, look, this didn't start in the last 4 years. That's at the inception of America. He stole this land from the so-called American Indians, which is the tribe of Gad, and this is built up by the Gadites and the Judites and the Issacharites, who you consider today so-called African Americans, so-called Native Americans, so-called Mexicans. These are the main tribes that built up America, from the west coast to the southeast on the Atlantic seaboard, and this is documented. I'm over here in Florida now. Who was mainly building it up out here? Reuben. All right, Reuben, Gad, and Judah. Then Levi's come over recently. All right, Manasseh, Ephraim, Simeon, Asher. You know, there's a lot of tribes out here. And I'm waiting for my car, and I'm gonna do some maneuvering, around the city. Not on Rockazam, but bring it out multiple times while I'm here, in between Miami and Key West. See, this whole nation is a testimonial of what? Of the slavery of the Israelites. especially here in Florida, man. When you go up to like northern Florida, this place is very oppressive. It is known for its oppressive nature. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his, how long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. And that's another thing. America is in unprecedented debt. Now, since this whole scamdemic started taking form, they didn't pump $6 trillion worth of money into circulation. And so the debt just increases tremendously. And if this devil, Jim Crow Joe, was to finish out his office, America would probably be in $40 to $50 trillion more worth of debt, and that's a conservative amount. So that's thick clay, because when you look up this word clay in the Hebrew, it's like batchat, which means heavy pledges, heavy debts. Hold on one second. Hey, baby, is this us? This us, right? Shall they not rise up suddenly? Shall they not? It's a lot. Yeah, I thought the car that we were waiting for just came up. Shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them? Right now it's time for you to get spoiled, because thou hast spoiled many nations. All the remnant of the people shall spoil thee, because of men's blood. And that's what the Moabites was calling out. What do they speak about specifically? The slaughter of so-called African Americans. So you don't have no right to say anything to anybody, because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land, of the city, and of all that dwell therein. And that's what America is known for, violence. And that's why the scriptures say, thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down. It shall be found no more at all. All right, let me get one more precept. This is the book of Job, chapter 20, verse 27. The heaven shall reveal his iniquity, and the earth shall rise up against him. And you see that, man. Everybody's rising up against this devil. And this is beautiful. And we're only in March, was it the 19th? This is only March 19th, 2021. We didn't even get to summer yet. Even though out here, it do feel like summer. Thought of that Childish Gambino song, Feels Like Summer. But we ain't even got to summer yet, man. And it's already just non-stop. All gas, no brakes on Esau. Oh, and over there in Paris, they're entering into another lockdown for a month. Hey, so this place is done, all right? But I'm going to go ahead and adhere through the spirit. I pray that the lesson was edifying, exhorting, and comforting. And as always, I want to give all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shai. Dawadi Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Kaya Harakakwadash. The Holy Spirit resting upon me to do this lesson. And I'm uploading this on Yahweh West Coast 777, because while I was on the flight, Esau just took down my page. He went into the archives, got like an old ass video, and just swiped the page. So you know how that goes. So I'll be uploading here and on Yahweh West Coast 144 as well. I don't know about this. All right, till next time, Shalom.